Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you will get notifications of all my latest and greatest. So today is the 4th day of March, and I thought what better time to discuss St. Patty's Day. But, you know, we all know that we wear green to not get pinched, and kiss me, I'm Irish. But do you all know the reason for the day? I didn't really know a lot, but anyway, the reason for the day is St. Patrick himself. Now, before we get started, I will add that there is a lot of debate regarding St. Patrick. Some believe he never existed, some believe he did. The biggest one you'll hear is he drove all the snakes out of Ireland. Thing is, Ireland supposedly never had snakes. Well, in some scholars' opinions, he drove the snakes, being the pagans, out of Ireland. Also, other scholars believe that Christianity couldn't have been in Ireland during St. Patrick's lifetime. Bottom line is, I'm going to remind everyone, do your own research. What I have here is just a very skimming the top of it because it's supposed to be a happy and uplifting type thing. So, this video is probably going to go over 10 minutes, so bear with me, y'all. Anyway, St. Patrick himself, he was born, again, some debate, in 385 CE. His real name was Mauen Succat. I will type that for y'all. His exact birth date's unknown. Yeah, his exact birth date is unknown. Like I said, there is some debate about it. But he was not born St. Patrick. But the biggest thing is, can you believe the holiday that we all celebrate with green and kiss me, I'm Irish, is celebrating a saint who is not even Irish, which was quite interesting. St. Patrick, or Patrick, was born in Britain and not Ireland. Again, there's a lot of debate on exactly where in Britain he was born. Nonetheless, Irish folks have observed this day as a religious holiday for over 1,000 years. That was quite interesting to me. St. Patrick Day falls during the Christian season of Lent. Traditionally, families would attend church in the morning and celebrate in the afternoon, which is where I got my idea for my background today. I am at a local churchyard, which I found yesterday. That is quite pretty. Anyway, the rules of Lent that prohibit the consumption of meat were waived, and people would dance, drink, and feast on the traditional meal of Irish bacon and cabbage. It wasn't until the 19th century, and the wind is fucking with me, it wasn't until the 19th century Irish settlers in New York subbed the bacon with corned beef. Aside from corned beef being gross, I'm really curious what the hell Irish sausage is now. So, I know this is going to be a controversial topic for some people, but nonetheless, it's one of the main facts that I could find about St. Patrick. Now my paper is going everywhere. A well-known figure, Patrick, that happened to be a white person. He was a slave. So don't get your knickers in a twist. Just, you know, do your own research, bear with me, whatever you want to do. He was 16. Patrick was stolen from his family and brought over to Gaelic Ireland as a slave. He worked as a shepherd outside, away from people, lonely and afraid, for roughly 6 years. So Patrick turned to his faith. Now again, there is debate on if French people kidnapped him after he was there. Anyway, there's a lot of controversial topics about the details. Anywho, when he escaped or returned home from the French supposedly let him go, he dedicated his life to the church. From where he was a slave, and I have no idea, probably got abused, he found God, and that's where he wanted to serve. Well, St. Patrick, not yet a saint, I might add, he went back to Ireland 30 years later as a missionary to convert the pagan Irish to Christianity. It was then that he changed his name to Patrick, Latin for father figure. The years following Patrick's death, some say March 17, 461, the myths surrounding his life became more ingrained in the Irish culture. Now again, the snakes being rid from Ireland was one of them. But probably the most well-known myth of St. Patrick is how he used a clover. We are all familiar with the shamrock for St. Patty's Day, but very few know why it's associated with St. Patrick. Now again, this is controversial. I think this whole video is controversial, so bear with me. I'm going to stop saying that. He used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, to native Irish folk. The clover or shamrock has since been an iconic symbol of Ireland and here in the U.S. Beginning in the early 18th century, people started to wear a shamrock to commemorate St. Patrick's feast day and to thank. Most of us only knew it for luck if we found a four-leaf one, or at least me. The first St. Patrick's Day parade took place in America, not Ireland. I'm not actually surprised because, you know, here in America we have to fuck everything up. Anyway, records show that a St. Patrick's Day parade was held on March 17, 1601 in a Spanish colony in what is now St. Augusta, Florida. Kind of interesting, actually. In the 18th century America, St. Patty's Day was celebrated also. During the Revolutionary War in 1762, Irish soldiers fighting on the British side in New York held one of the first St. Patty's Day parades. It was then that it pretty much took hold and said, okay, let's celebrate. Anyway, being so far away from home, it was a way for the Irish to bond and remember what they were fighting for. The idea of the parade caught on, and soon there were parades in New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Chicago. In 1962, Chicago even went as far as to dye part of the Chicago River green to remember the day. Now that lasted for a week. I think it was like they dumped 100 gallons of dye into the river. Not exactly eco-friendly, but I'm sure it was pretty. Anyway, so they still do that today, or, well, being it's 2021 and all this COVID bullshit, they might not do it this year. But supposedly they do still dye part of the river, just with like, I think it was 10 gallons now, so it only lasts for a few hours. When the Great Potato Famine hit Ireland in 1845, close to 1 million poor and uneducated Catholics began to pour into America to escape starvation. Little did they know Americans can be quite shitty and don't do well with people who don't talk like them or think like them. They would be treated horribly because of their accents and different beliefs. So when Irish Americans got together and celebrated St. Patty's Day, the newspaper portrayed them in cartoons as drunk, violent monkeys. Thankfully, in no time, the Irish understood how America worked and were able to turn the tables and get the respect that they deserve. Well, that's enough of depressing talk, isn't it? A little factual, if you know, but enough of depressing. Let's get to the more fun side of the Day of Green, shall we? So why do we wear green? Because I know I look probably ridiculous right now, but it's so cute, I couldn't help it. So why do we wear green? The iconic shamrock used by St. Patrick is green. Oh yeah, I got one. St. Patrick's shamrock is green. Ireland is known as the Emerald Isle for its lush green fields. Traditional Irish legend has it that you are invisible to leprechauns if you wear the color green, thereby protecting you from being pinched by one of these little fairy creatures, or by mean-ass people on St. Patrick's Day if you don't have green. I've had many bruises because of it. Fun fact, however, is the color used to be light blue and not green. Apparently you can still see the light blue color on the flags and such. Not really sure where it switched from light blue to green. Maybe another video. Anyway, speaking of leprechauns, leprechauns are a popular myth in the Celtic culture. The original Irish name for these figures of folklore is labrechaun, pardon my pronunciation, meaning small-bodied fellow. Some say that leprechauns are another branch of fae, while others consider them their own creature. I would have to say they're probably another branch of fae. There's a lot of faes out there, fae creatures, that just, they're all fae. Like we're all human, they're all fae. That's my thought. Wrong, right, indifferent, that's my thought. Anyway, regardless which it may be, legends seem to concede, whatever, about the same. Leprechauns are grumpy souls. They fix the shoes of other fae, and of course, like other fairies, leprechauns are known for their trickery. Now, some other fae are known for truth and whatnot, but anyway, leprechauns are known for their trickery. After all, they had to be great at it to protect their all-famous pot of gold from us poorly humans. Even the TV show Lost Girl did an episode about these little men. If you're a fan of the show, you'll know the episode, and he wasn't so little. It was kind of a surprise. Anyway, doing research for this, I found out leprechauns have their own holiday. I am actually really excited about this, so guess I know what I'll be doing next May, since May 13th is the holiday for leprechauns. I'm kind of excited about that. Anyway, so we have covered the color, the clover, and the little folks. But what about the alcohol? I can hear some of y'all asking, bitch, what about the alcohol? That's the funnest part, or best part. Well, the traditional beverage of choice is, you guessed it, Guinness. The Guinness beer. Apparently, some bars in the U.S. actually try and tint this beer green in honor of the day. Now, if you've ever had a Guinness or drank a Guinness, that is one dark motherfucking beer. So I'm curious to how they tint it green. So needless to say, hopefully I'll be able to go to a bar this year and say I want a green tinted Guinness. And if that's the case, I will definitely be doing a short video to show all of y'all. But anyway, that is pretty much the facts that I have regarding St. Patrick's Day. I hope you all learned something, or at least enjoyed the video. Again, be sure to go down and hit the little bell where it says subscribe so you get all my videos. Next, we will be discussing the spring equinox, since that will be coming up, I do believe, on the 20th of this month. So stay tuned for another informative video. Thanks again for joining me today, and until next time, enjoy St. Patty's Day!